if we didn't make that decision back then, we couldn't invent Midas.
We need to ask him really for like the origins of this idea.
Why Pro 2 is such a beast?
In my experience, I've never seen such clean, sharp prints.
So what's the physics principle there?
The Pascal's law.
What about the experience of it? What is it that we've learned over years?
Internally, when we print with it, it's really mind-boggling what you can get out of it.
How was the feedback so far? You guys want to share some of that?
I haven't heard anyone even report a single print failure so far.
We're not limited only to Crown.
Oh, no. That's just the starting.
So what problem does it solve?
This path of industrial design that we took on Pro line has been all about evolution.
What's the difference between a ceramic crown on Pro 2 versus Pro S?
So that level of industrial grade 3D printers is now at your fingertips.
Which one do you want to start first?
Midas.
Midas.
Pro 2.
Pro 2.
Okay, let's go Midas.
Whatever,
now.
which one?
First
Doesn't
off,
matter.
how the hell we came up with the name, guys? You want to share the story, Haas?
Names? Oh,
name of Midas.
Oh, just that one?
Yes.
Because names are a thing at SprintRay. We never...
Till the
It's
night
never
of launch.
figured out.
It's a war every
Okay.
time.
Right before shipping, it changes. Midas. I think this was the internal name. This was the R&D name that Tim Tian, head of R&D, in that moment when we started the project, he picked for it. And we just stuck with it because it made sense. Midas Touch is what turns everything into gold, whatever it touches. And I think it's a meaningful, nice name for that product because we know how much printing restorations matter to our target customer, and it really is the bread and butter of every dental office out there. So the Midas Touch is really good. It turns that liquid resin into something that
gold.
is very precious. Yeah.
So when you go to the domain midas.press,
Uh-huh.
you press the button, and it shows the Midas for you. So we bought
Beautiful.
that domain, actually linked it. Did you know
Oh,
that?
nice.
No.
I had no idea.
So it's actually not working now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why it wasn't working.
It broke.
But let's get it started. How did the process of inventing Midas begin? Talk about Jing's genius and how long it took us to turn it into a product.
Sure. I remember that back in the day, early days, didn't he hack a Moonray to have it like turn and like have ceramics in
The
it?
ceramic drum.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was there. We did print many ceramic stuff back in the day, but it wasn't tooth. It was just like tiny
Ceramic
shapes
parts,
and
yeah.
ceramic parts in general. But then it was very hard to use. It was difficult to maintain.
You have a picture of it? Send it to me so I can show it. Oh, no, don't worry about it.
We'll do it later. Yeah, it was in our presentation at
3D Next.
3D Next.
Next,
We
yeah.
actually talked about that and we showed it at the end. But yeah, it wasn't good enough to be sold to anyone or even ourselves. It was difficult to use. You had to
So
like clean
complicated.
it. Yeah.
It was like a wiper wiping the whole resin, and but it wasn't even dental. When he
Yeah, it was
started, he
anything.
wanted to do ceramic printing, and it was not. When he started that, it was not. We were not super focused on dental. This is 2017.
Oh yeah, remember we had chocolate printer back in the day.
Yeah,
which
he
was
did everything.
that was a good one. I mean, we may need it today because then you can take it to customers and get cavities and
And they come back and print teeth. for them.
correct. Yeah.
A dentist invented cotton candy. It's job security.
So, when was it that Jing shared with you that I have this concept? And for those who don't know, Jing is our CTO, co-founder. I'm going to put his picture here so you guys see how visionary he is. But this Midas is purely his invention. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we need to ask him really for like the origins of this idea. But if you remember, in his own words, he hacked two syringes,
Yeah.
the typical syringes, and then put them together, and he essentially connected the two of them together. And this was also we can actually put this up later, but he was pressing one down, the other one would go up, and then you press the other one go up. So that was the basics of how this thing works.
Crude prototype to
Correct.
see if he can print it.
And I think this early on, he hacked one of the existing printers to actually perform this with the syringes. And this is about now 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
when he showed us
A
the
bit
very
more than
first
that,
stuff.
but yeah.
And it was all. He called it the boot.
Little boot.
The little boot, because it looked like a boot. The design of it, at least, whatever they had. It was a CNC block of, I think, nylon that he made the very first one from, and hacked a few things from Pro S to make it work in print. And then when he showed us, I think we couldn't believe that it's working.
Yeah.
And he spent a lot of time making sure that it's actually working accurately rather than just working, because it wouldn't matter if it's not accurate. But yeah, this was to answer your question, about 2 years ago, more than maybe 2 years ago now, that he showed us the initial prototypes.
Yeah, when he shared it with me, it was phone call. I was like, one thing I learned, you never tell to engineers with an idea that it doesn't work. You say, go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I learned it from my mentor at USC, and that's been my philosophy. So it seems strange and grossly optimistic that this thing works.
that this would work accurately.
Let's give it a shot. And then he disappeared for 2 months, and then he showed up with the syringes, and then he gave us a
That's
demo.
the thing. You always say this: don't bet against Jing.
Yeah.
Don't bet against engineers.
You will
in
lose.
general. Yeah. And it was awesome. And then we had the first, I have a picture here, the first ever prototype that we were, you have a video? See if you can look it up. I want to get your reactions.
I probably do, but
I definitely remember the first time he showed up here and showed me the crown, and I was like asking the questions of mechanical properties and Cyto, and he's like, no, we got it. I'm like, come on, there's no way. And then next time he shows up, here's the prototype. And the speed at which he works at makes us look slow.
He has the skunk works back in China doing stuff like this. But that said, you remember when I think...
Okay, here. This is February 22nd, 2022, that he actually, it was like a 1 year of working, fine-tuning it.
Right.
And I'm playing it here. You guys can see it. We're doing one print. And it was unbelievable. You can see how it is.
Oh, that's even here.
Yeah.
It's in our office.
It's in our office. He just fine-tuned the booth. With a piston.
The old RFID hack, too.
Yeah, everything was hacked, yeah. That's him. Look at
Yeah,
it.
very happy.
So
about his
happy.
hack.
We did it.
Don't tell anyone. He's like nodding. He's like, yeah. We gotta put this on the screen later for people
Yeah,
to see it.
Put that on the patent, too.
So you can show it, right? Sync the audio and show it, Jamie. But yeah, overall, it was very optimistic. This thing worked, but it worked. It was phenomenal. And then when we built I think I have the video of when we actually build the first prototype. Remember that? When was it? March? The first prototype, not the engineer.
January.
It actually looked like it.
January of 2023, he showed.
Yeah.
We sat down. I remember that day because there's like good pictures and documents from that day. That him and I sat and talked about how do we design this, now turn it into a product, do the industrial design. Those were like the days that we were deciding whether or not we should put a lid on it or just keep it open frame.
Yeah, I'm glad you.
And everybody was like, keep it open frame, don't put anything on it.
So Mark, maybe you share here. How does it work? You explain the tech to our audience and viewers. You want to scroll here? Scroll.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have an actual like.
First of all, you should say
Jesus Christ.
sick.
Sick.
It's very sick. But now go ahead.
All right. I'm obviously a Mac idiot, but here we go. So we've got it's a printer, the DLP projector, 385 wavelength. So we have extra control over the light compared to 405. It allows us to print with more advanced materials and print them better. There's 3 compartments. You put the capsule on the compartment, and right here you've got here's resin on this side.
Don't press, just touch it.
Yeah, resin on one side.
Are you really that Mac inept?
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
you know, I use real stuff. The red part comes down. It pushes resin into the chamber on the right. As that resin's getting pushed in, the projector's flashing the layers just like our other printers. And just from pressure alone, the platform comes up with the crown. So when you're done, you basically just take that capsule out, lift up the black piece with a little handle on it, and there's the crown, just like you see on screen.
Right.
It really is that simple. I mean, if you ever used a Keurig or an espresso or something like that, I mean, that's the concept.
So what's the physics principle there?
The Pascal's law, which is like pressure equalization, basically. So we have two cylinders that have material in them, and they're basically sealed. So pushing on one cylinder pushes on the other cylinder. Yeah.
This is the Pascal principle.
Yeah.
A non-compressible fluid, when you press it on one side, the entire force transforms to the other side. That's why we're able to press the piston super precise and get the platform to be passive. It's just phenomenal the way it works.
Right. In a typical architecture of a 3D printer, everything is active, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, the platform is completely passive. You only press on one side. You move liquid in a really pressurized chamber. So it adds to the... It really overcomes the mechanics of moving the platform separately.
Right.
And it just moves itself, even
So
there.
what problem does it solve? Back to our philosophy of we make products that are painkillers. We don't make vitamins. What pain does it solve?
Material. Easy to say. I mean, to me,
Viscosity.
that's the
Why?
first one. Yeah.
Viscosity problem.
Okay.
For the most part.
Let's explain that why.
When you have many fillers, I mean, people who have used their other, like for example, ceramic crown. For that, we had to make the resin tank smaller and make the platform smaller. So it just moves faster because it has many fillers. Those fillers just slow down the liquid. And in the typical architecture, the Chuck Hall architecture, the conventional ones, you are waiting for resin to fill up between every layer. And if when your material doesn't move, then you have to wait forever. In this case, you just force the material to move throughout the layers. So that's really, that enables us to pack as many ceramics, as many fillers as we want. Viscosity is not a problem. And in dentistry, we know that ceramic is one of the best materials you want to print with, you want to make any restorations with. That said, how do you make a printer that doesn't care about viscosity of ceramics?
It's
What do you
important.
say we made honey badger?
Yeah, it doesn't give a shit.
It's the honey
Doesn't
badger.
give a shit.
It's important, though, that this is not a repurposed Chuck Hall thing. This is bespoke for dentistry. That's what allows us to do some of these things. Like, we don't have to wait for resin to come back in from the next layer because we're printing something small. This is 4 crowns. We get to leverage all of what we've learned over the last 30 years now to make, like, the right thing.
And one of the things that again, when we look back, the decision in 2017 to become a dental company, if we didn't make that decision back then, we couldn't invent Midas. Midas exists because we are a dental company.
Right.
So beside materials, which we're right now doing materials that are 10 times more viscous, that means more ceramics, more getting into sinterable ceramics, exciting. I'm not sharing too much in the future. What about the experience of it? What is it that we've learned over years? I want you guys to share a little bit of that.
That's what most people externally are going to answer that question as. Like, what's the benefit here is the experience. You don't have to worry about, is there something in your resin tank? Is your build platform messy? It's idiot-proof is the idea here. We want anyone's grandma to be able to print this crown. You just put the thing on the thing and hit the button. That's it.
It's really the very first 3D printer that anybody can turn on and get something out of it, you know? Even if you're not using it for dental, if you're just sending some other thing to it, you can ask anybody to run this maybe with a minute of training that, hey, just do this and do that, done. And it doesn't need any maintenance after that. That's the other aspect of it. We have been building espresso machines. You need to maintain them. You need to take care of them and do things to make them work properly. And that's Pro S, Pro 2. They're all espresso machines. For the very first time, we have an espresso machine that actually just, if you want a coffee, very quick, very fast, just drop in the
pod,
thing. Done.
Easy.
Yeah,
I think that's a very good analogy. 3D printing is like you call it espresso, I call it a drip machine that you gotta grind your own coffee, put a filter, make sure water is there, and then go through it, do a cleaning cycle, make sure you dump the coffee. It's very messy. And this thing really turned the experience, take it to the next level. How was the feedback so far? You guys want to share some of that?
I mean, overwhelmingly positive. I haven't heard anyone even report a single print failure so far. Everyone's loving the aesthetics, and we're just talking about the existing resin that we have right now in it. I mean, this is we're just showing the new form factor, not the actual the fun part.
I can talk about a few things. In my experience, people first thing is like, oh, it's so small. Second is like so easy.
No
Like,
training.
no
I heard
training.
that
Anybody
no
can do it.
training. It's like people get excited. What is workflow Nirvana?
That's Tyler.
Tyler, thank you.
The word master.
Workflow Nirvana.
No, it is true because
my
even
God.
if we don't do any other resins for this, right? Even if we just keep putting ceramic crown in it,
Right.
the ease of use has now brought in new customers that are interested
Exactly.
because they're like, oh, I can have any of my staff do this, you know?
So who needs this? Do I need a regular printer and a Midas? How do people pick what to buy?
Print models.
Depends on your application. What do you want to do in your office? If all you do is crowns, inlay, onlays, veneers, or restoratives, if that's your thing, then Midas might be enough. But if you want to expand your portfolio of offerings to like conventional dentures or printing models, doing night guards, then you need other types of 3D printers like Pro 2 or Pro S. But in general, they're very complementary to each other. You can use Pro S and Pro 2 for doing restorations too, but then again, it's like using your espresso machine for everything. But when you want to make it, especially when we go to very highly filled materials that the Pro 2 or Pro S cannot handle because of the thickness of the material, then you really feel the need for such a device to deliver a different level of aesthetics, mechanical performance, because the material can just deliver that. And again, ease of use. Very easy to use, very low maintenance, very reliable.
Mm-hmm.
The machine is just, we have had the machine for over a year now, in our R&D room. Never quit, nothing happens to it. You can't even break it, like even if you try.
It blows my mind how often we grab the handle, which isn't a
just
handle,
move it around.
and just move it
Do
around.
we have
and
one here? No.
That'd be a good idea.
So what else do you guys want to share about Midas? You want to move to Pro 2 or? But here, does anyone have something like that?
No, look, do you want to share your story with Ivoclar at all? The very first time you took it there? Yeah, I think that's a very cool story because that really gave momentum internally.
Yeah.
When that happened, I think I remember this clearly because I was so happy that, honestly, we got to work on the iPhone of this industry. And I internally told you guys, I was like, this is the fucking iPhone. Like, if whoever is working on this, they're going to remember it for the rest of their lives, that this is the thing.
Yeah.
It definitely rallied a lot of people. I think, like, internally, people were not getting the bigger picture because it's like, this is a different vehicle for a ceramic crown. Like, what's really the point? It's like, you got to understand that there's these 100-year-old companies in the industry who have been trying to print the materials they've been making for decades and decades and just can't. You just can't. You can't just take a filler and slap it into a resin and just print. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that trip, I've been wanting to get in touch with Ivoclar for probably 5 years to get them to make materials for 3D printing, probably the best material company in the world. But nothing grabbed their attention because every other products we had was another 3D printing. They're the best that we built ever in terms of performance reliability, but to those guys, it was just another 3D printer. So first time at IDS, I met the leadership team last year, and I explained to them in concept because not even concept. I told them we have a machine that can do a lot of stuff, and it was very abstract.
Yeah, we didn't have anything in that moment.
We had the prototypes, but we didn't want to show it.
You couldn't
back
show
then.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we waited till we built the first DVTs, right?
Correct. Yeah, the ones you took were EVT. They were actually before DVT.
What is EVT?
EVT is engineering validation.
Yeah.
Right before
it's one
DVT.
of the EVT units, but it looked like the final product. It looked fantastic. It was awesome. It was looked like the real thing.
Let me open a parenthesis here. When you have, I told Jing too, I was like, dude, when you have a great idea, like to this level, genius, designing around it is just so simple. So from day one, it looked great. It still looks great. And it's like, you wouldn't do it any other way. You would do it this way.
Yeah.
So compact, yeah. So I took it there and we set it up in a very nice way. Put a big box on it, huge box. Then I did a mini 3D Next. I showed the problem statement, all this stuff. Then we unveiled it. Then I'm like,
Tiny.
but the team is very technically savvy, and it was one of the things that excites me about Ivoclar. From the CEO to CTO for all the product managers, they're like us. They're very deep into the tech. They get it. They respect technology. They looked at the patent. I remember the CTO looked at the patent, like, genius. He picked it up in like 7 seconds. It was awesome. But yeah, it's a partnership about building more materials for the SprintRay ecosystem.
Yeah, we have created a springboard for material development.
Exactly.
That was not there before. So sky's the limit now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when do we ship it?
So yeah, we originally it was slated for Q4, but now we actually are pulling it forward a little bit to see probably Q3 or mid Q3 or end of Q3 as quick as we can. And it's been really good. Again, the machine has been very reliable over the past year that we have been looking at it since we got the DVTs and EVTs. From here on, it's just game of materials. I think the printer,
Absolutely.
it's one of those things that you buy today and then it keeps getting better. I mean, software aside that we do software updates, but then with new materials coming in, it's just that machine is going to gain more momentum over time and become actually more precious in every office.
Very true. The initial feedback was so good that we had to accelerate the manufacturing, and we're really shifting it from Q4 to Q3. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, ship the first units out, and very excited. You see Mark's head is spinning because we gotta get things ready.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, Mark is working on AI Studio, which has crowns, and it does crowns for Midas. So.
Before we go to Pro 2, let's switch topics. I want to do AI Studio.
Okay.
A big component of Midas is automatic crown design. So Mark, why don't you explain why we created that, and then give us a demo.
Sure. AI Studio is a way for us to propose an AI design output and then give the user optional ways to edit the output. I mean, we have years now of design service data on our platform, including using AI Night Guard, and AI Crown through 3Shape Automate. So we know, what we think our users want. We know what our users are telling us that they want. And we know that we need to make a solution here because our users don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a gaming laptop and learn how to design, deal with dental turnover, all these different things. So we wanted to give people an easy way to make the crown in our platform, keep it on Midas, keep it in SprintRay.
We have a Midas here.
So what is it? You want to give us a demo?
So you start by picking a patient. You're going to either pick an existing patient, create a new patient. We have crown, coming soon's inlay, onlay, overlay, night guard, retainer. Pick crown, pick your upload your scans, pick your tooth number. Right now we're just doing posterior, single units only, and that's all the input. Then I'm going to give you the margin. You can confirm the margin. You look at the margin. You want to make edits to the margin. Cool.
17 p.m.
But
the
pin's what's wrong. Yeah, sure. You edit the margin, confirm the margin, and then we show you the crown. At that point, you're in the review step. If you want to make edits, you can. If you want to just send it to RayWare, you can. You want to change automatic adaptation for proximal contact, occlusal contact, things like that, we got you. You want to move the crown around, scale, rotate, it's all there. You want to use brush tools, add, remove, smooth, flatten, all the stuff that you're used to. Different tooth libraries, angle of insertion, undercut blockout, minimum thickness warnings. I mean, all the features are there. It works in cloud, any browser. People saw the video of me using it on my Tesla. It's on iPad. I mean, it's super easy. I mean, it really is like the software that I've been trying to build for like a decade now in the industry, basically. I love it. I mean, it's my baby. I'm a big fan, and it's only going to grow, for sure.
So we're not limited only to crown.
Oh no! That's just the starting point.
I should just say that.
Yeah, no. It's crown, inlay, onlay, overlay, night guard, retainer. I mean, by the end of the year, for all those, for sure, we have smile design, trial smile, shell temp, veneer, anterior crown, implant crown. I mean, why stop? Whatever we can make, we need to.
Yeah, the goal with that product line with Studio is to bring a level of CAD design to people that was not available before. Because there's ExoCAD, which is amazing. It's like SolidWorks for engineers. You can do anything you want. But many people may not be able to use that because it needs full training. You need to be educated on how to do it. But then for an average user, what do you make that is not super limiting like some other AIs that we have had in the past? Gives them some control to make them happy about the outcome at the end of it. And that's the goal with that product. We started with crowns because that was the necessity to be able to ship Midas. But then everything else that we have that is already AI is going to come into that. Retainer is another thing that is going to support Pro 2 and retainer resin. So yeah, the sky is the limit for that software.
Amazing. Now I'm personally pushing this project forward, as you all know. And I think it's a big enabler for all of the chairside dental 3D printing and lab side, both of them. Again, we are coming with different level of tiers for our lab partners and friends and customers to be able to use it differently. But overall, we're supporting of digital dentistry, regardless of labs or chairside.
Right. Mm-hmm. And maybe one analogy for people who drive Teslas is that, like it's, our AI in the past was like you give it an input, you just get an output.
Right.
But this thing is like Tesla Autopilot. If you don't like something, you can just take over the wheel and adjust it and then continue. Yeah.
Very nice. And I think before we go to the Pro 2 topic, what is RayWare Cloud? You guys want to cover some of the features, benefits, and why everyone should be on cloud?
Well, I mean, the automation is a no-brainer. I think that's one of like you mentioned painkillers. When I think of like our software painkillers, I think of scan to print workflow is one of our first real big painkillers. Everyone had auto support. No one's impressed by that. Everyone had base tool. No one's impressed by that. But to take a scan and not need your user to spend 30 minutes in MeshMixer learning how to do this and then teach the staff, like, no, you click a button and here's your printable scan. That's really important. That's a huge painkiller. It's a huge automation piece. And we took it to the next level with auto orient, auto support, auto layout, all these awesome things that people are leveraging. I mean, we see the telemetry, we see how people use it. So, I mean, if you want to do things manually and be in the Stone Age, cool, yeah, use the desktop software.
Yeah. And to give more context, we built this desktop software in 2017.
Yeah.
Almost at this point, like 7 years old, and we stopped updating it about 3 years ago, and we put all of our focus and attention to RayWare Cloud. So all of our new techs are there, and you have to be on the RayWare Cloud. It also enables to go directly from the web to the print without really any connection in between. It just enables the more in-office printing easy.
Right.
It really does.
The thing that I think it's not very obvious is that our devices are all IoT, which is a separate category of putting your device on the same Wi-Fi network, which used to be what we did, which means it doesn't matter which network you're on. The RayWare Cloud can talk to, or for that matter, everything else that we have on cloud can talk to any of the devices without the need to be on the same network. As long as they're connected to internet, they will work. Let me say a few things about RayWare Cloud, because remember when we did it for the first time, we got so much shit for it. It's like, what is this? Why are you guys so fascinated with doing cloud software?
I wouldn't even use it.
Yeah. And really the reason is the amount of infrastructure we built around that, which is not visible to people. Nobody sees that. That's where actually we have been able to bring a new level of customer support even. That, hey, don't worry about resin profile. Like, what is that? You shouldn't be worried about that. It should be always updating itself. How? With such an infrastructure. If we were still relying on desktop software, we had to keep upgrading that software to add new resins. I mean, who wants to do that? Or adjusting
to
cure
update
times.
your Pro software.
Correct.
Even. You had to download the new RayWare to get the new version of Pro.
And now with cloud computing, now we can now bring such like software like this Studio and add that as a component to this.
Now everything makes sense.
Yeah, like when we put that lens on that, the reason for this is not just a fascination with a new technique to do software. It's more about how do we see the future. There's this vision of like you come to one domain, sprinter.com, and everything just happens there. It was only able to happen by doing it on cloud, not just. And it was painful. We went through a lot of changes to
going
make
through
it work. Yeah.
I think probably a shout out to our head of software, Elias.
Elias.
Let's put his picture here.
Yeah, we need to.
Jamie.
Everything is his idea, so we
It
need
was
to.
his idea. And that was the first project he picked up when he joined 2.5 years ago, and it was painful to get it going to where it is. But thank you, Elias, for finally delivering it.
Yeah, no, I mean there has been moments that we should always question our choices, and we have questioned that, and every time we questioned, we went back to the same answer that it will make it better, and we did, but we had to have that conviction that this is the solution, and I think today we see the benefits of that.
We had something that worked, kind of. We had to force ourselves to the growing pains to really get to.
It's also worth noting that we're not going to support RayWare desktop.
You should take the link out of the website. Did you do that? Can you do it today?
I think, yeah, sure.
Okay.
No, but that said, we are not going to support it anymore. There is no reason for us to dedicate development time and attention to it because it's just a distraction at this point. Mm-hmm. So we want everybody to know that go to RayWare Cloud. If there's something that is not working out for you, let us know. We'll make an amendment to that, and we are committed to make that really work. And I think at this point, everybody who's using it avidly knows the reason why for such a decision.
All right. So we talked about Midas. We talked about why Midas and the importance on the innovation side on Midas and AI Studio. But I think after 3D Next, with so much light and attention and focus on Midas, our Pro 2 really a bit got under attention.
Yeah.
And
eclipsed. Yeah.
Eclipsed. I think that's very good. It got undershadowed by the other innovations that we brought to the market. Mark, you've been printing with it for almost a year. And why Pro 2 is such a beast?
I mean, it's frustrating how good it is. I had to force Hossein to take my Pro 2 off my desk a few weeks ago because I was too distracted by it. We have deadlines in the studio. I had to get stuff done. But no, it's too easy for me to sit there and play with crazy new calibration prints. What boundaries can I push on the supports? I mean, legitimately, I have to redo all of our auto orient and all of our auto support basically for every application because of like the new ways that I can leverage the printer. 385 plus LCD is just amazing. Yeah, it's just the level of accuracy it's bananas. I mean, you really have to see it to believe it. This thing is a very, very, very nice upgrade to Pro S. I mean, I still have a Pro S at my desk, but Pro 2 is just, it's clear that this is our new powerhouse. I mean, if you think you're going to hold off on not getting a Pro 2 and just sit on your Pro S, you're wrong. You're getting a Pro 2.
So tell me about that. What's the underlying tech cost?
So let's get a nice shot of this. This is the optical panel. And combination of optical panel, which is, by the way, very super durable. Nothing happens to it. It really sounds like a lot of glass, which it is a lot of glass. Pro 2 is really enabled by two things, optical panel and the LED that is 385 now for the very first time. And this combination is also not very common. Like most companies do not go after 385, but really yes, right there.
That's LED, that's optical panel, the pixel mask.
Correct. What we have always been hearing from our customers is the need for speed, need for accuracy, need for a variety of applications. And with Pro 2, we really had a chance to rehash all those things, you know? And I think the choices we made, even though it was like sometimes very difficult to make things work because we are making a shift from what we have been doing before with 405 and Pro S, from having DLP projector in there to now with optical panel and this combination. It wasn't trivial to make this big shift.
Yeah.
But now that we have done it, internally when we print with it, it's really mind-boggling what you can get out of it in terms of accuracy and like sharpness of the print. I've been sharing some of the internal testing that we have been doing on Facebook too for people to just,
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like things we couldn't print before, like some of these stackable guides that they have holes coming from every angle. we couldn't do
couldn't
that.
do that
Yeah,
before.
we couldn't do
It's
those
phenomenal.
kind of things. So yeah,
Um,
it's really enabler in that sense. And yes, it is overshadowed by Midas because just Midas is just mind blowing in terms of what it can deliver. But at the end of the day, a dental workhorse in every office is needed.
Right.
And for every other application but restorations, this thing can deliver that level of resolution capacity because now the entire platform is that high resolution that so there's no more 95 55. You don't have to figure out which one to use. It's
And-
always ready.
on behalf of our customers, I want to thank you for putting a handle there.
Yes, thank you.
5-year-old requested feature there, and you finally put it. But the shape of it is more resolved. I think it's more mature and looks
The machine
far more
overall?
advanced than the Pro S. Why is that? You call it 911,
You know,
Porsche 911.
yeah, Porsche 911. Because if you look at Porsche 911, even iPhones or MacBooks, you see these products are not, their design is getting refined over time rather than completely changing it. One reason is we have a customer base that is used to use Pro and Pro S. So, and if they like using it, why wouldn't you just completely change it? Instead, you improve it, you refine it instead of going out and like re-architecturing it from the ground up. And yes, this is the other thing about industrial design. You know, Pro was designed in 2016, 2017, the original Pro.
18 or 17, yeah.
No, it came out,
18.
yeah, but you're usually
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years behind
Yeah,
on
18
the
came out.
announcement, right? So it really started back then. And over time, we learned a lot about, like, for example, we added 2 new kits to it. With Pro S, we added Crown Kit, we added Arch Kit. Even that, there was a lot of learning in that. That, hey, customers don't need all this amount of resin all the time. They also actually prefer higher speed of printing for certain applications. And then we talked about crowns being very expensive from the material standpoint because developing it is expensive, making them expensive, so they become very precious. You don't want to just pour the entire thing into the printer. You want to use as much as you want. So this path of industrial design that we took on Pro line has been all about evolution and just refining it, slowly refining it and getting it to where it is today. So yeah, every time I look at it and take a pass at it, I want to refine maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's how we ended up with Pro 2, which is, in essence, is still a Pro, but it's like a Pro from 2024, you know?
So why should someone for model printing, which is such a, at this point, trivial application, upgrade to Pro 2 from Pro S? What is different in this from your experience of printing, Mark? Maybe ask you that question.
I mean, if you're printing on supports, let's actually just start there. If you're printing like vertical models supported for like a build platform full of suck down models, there's no way that you want to print on a Pro S compared to a Pro 2. The support removal and the way that it's handling the speed with the supports now, it's exponentially faster.
What about without supports?
Without supports? I mean, you've seen the prints yourself. It's ridiculous how accurate these prints are now, to a point where they're
And
too
surface
accurate.
finish.
Yeah, like
Yeah, the models look really good.
they look
Really nice.
exactly true to STL. Your text is going to come out exactly like you expected. I mean, die to model fit, crown fit to the removable die, like everything's there. You want to do crazy like study models for a stackable guide and surgery and gingiva mask and all this, go for it. Like now it's time to do your really, really, really tough models that you thought you needed a carbon for.
And our new dental model resin.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Why?
That's a nice one.
I mean, unfortunately, this resin's been in development for a very long time. It's basically been a lot of fights over what colors to make the tan and gray. And after refining and refining and refining, I think I love the colors of the tan and gray now. They're slate and stone, but it's really beautiful looking resins. They have a nice matte finish, and combined with the Pro 2, I mean, it's
We're
butter.
shipping it already, right?
Correct, yeah. It's shipping.
So what else? Retainers. This is only on Pro 2.
I hope so.
Exclusive, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because of the wavelength, the
Okay,
way it is,
okay,
only
okay.
works on Pro 2.
Good.
What about like crowns? What's the difference between a ceramic crown on Pro 2 versus Pro S?
I think just, again, combine that level of resolution, that how many pixels we have packed into optical panel, combine that with 385 and accuracy of that, everything is elevated. from any application you try.
What difference do they see between S to Pro
More
2?
accurate, better anatomy, more defined anatomy on that.
You'll see
Pro
a better knife edge margin if you're doing like a no prep veneer, if you're doing like a shell temp, eggshell provisional, like these hyper thin appliances that only the ballsiest of dentists are printing right now anyway. I mean, it's going to print just fine. Like you're in a new world where you should be doing this for sure. Yeah.
What about hybrid dentures with Onyx Tough 2?
Oh, it's just
this is one of the biggest misses that we did at 3D Next of not bringing more hybrid denture prints. We brought 2 or whatever, and I mean, everyone that we showed the hybrid denture print to on supports, they're just like, "Oh shit, I'm buying one right now."
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's not even fair. Like,
We'll have some guides for you.
yeah.
Yeah, we
No
printed
hybrid
these.
dentures. So what is better from Pro S? A lot of our great users are using it for same-day provisionalization of full arch cases. Why they should upgrade?
I think just guaranteed fit,
Passive fit?
passive fit, better anatomy, and looks much smoother than before, and potentially even faster prints. I mean, as of now, it's faster than Pro S, but with the arch kit, it's just gonna be even faster.
Yeah, it's about 20% faster than Pro S because of the supports, the way we're doing double cure. But I think you guys missed the size of the platform between Pro S, because 55 was a full arch printer, really.
Correct.
So it's almost 4 times bigger than...
True.
Yeah. If you
Pro
compare it to
S.
55S, the volume throughput is just ridiculous with that resolution.
We have a lot of people teaching now. What you see on screen right there,
Right.
six hybrids. Like, I mean, we do
And
this.
this is generous fit. You can fit more.
Oh yeah, you can.
But if you're
try
doing
hard.
a few try-ins for a patient, like that's what people are doing now. I mean, that could be 3 different try-ins for one patient right there in 20 minutes.
And as it's becoming like a tradition to call out Mike Tran in my videos, Mike, you've been asking for a bigger platform for your full arches. This is it, my friend. Get
Got
your
it.
Pro 2 faster and get started in printing.
You really won't believe your occlusal anatomy after removing supports on Pro 2 with a hybrid denture. It's a completely different experience, honestly.
Amazing.
I have been personally impressed with clarity of stuff like surgical guides.
Right.
In my experience, I've never seen such clean, sharp prints, even around supports. Because surgical guide resin really shows all those things. It's meant to do that, right? It's super precise. And then when you see it, you're like, was this molded or printed? You can't even tell.
I have a really good picture under the microscope that we can put on here where it's like I have surgical guide from Pro S, surgical guide from Pro 2 compared side by side on the microscope. It looks like one of these was printed on carbon and one of these was printed on, something else. Like it's just like
It's like that level of industrial grade 3D printers is
crazy.
now at your fingertips at a completely different price point.
remove a couple zeros, yeah.
Also, Haas, I want you to also highlight the heated build plate that is patented by us. It's not dumb. Why did we do that? And is it also available on Pro 2?
Yes. All the good things we learned about Pro S and Pro are now in Pro 2 for sure.
Okay.
Warming up resin really helps with movement of resin because you reduce viscosity. At the same time, just improves overall print quality. When resin is cold, especially, I mean, in summertime, it's fine. But when you go to Chicago and it's cold and the printer is sitting in a lab that is not super ventilated or it's not warmed up, we had these issues. The
For
reason
years.
why we added these things is that it was always winter time. We had a lot of calls. It was just
Yeah.
funny. It's like as soon as it goes to winter,
Moonray calls.
Moonray and
especially, yeah.
Pro,
Yeah.
they always struggled printing things, and you have to warm up resin before doing that. So it really came from a pain. It's a painkiller. It's a painkiller that we built into Pro S and now comes to Pro 2.
What about the speed of plate with 8, 9, 10 arches that I've seen it fits for ortho? Can we print it in 10 minutes?
You mean with hybrids or with
No,
models?
just
Flat models.
Flat models.
Oh, flat models. I think at 170, it's
We're
achievable.
sub 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With what about 100 micron? Probably 15 minutes.
A bit, maybe over that. But then
I
again,
think 17.
I wanna add this to the conversation that we have shown a track record of improving the hardware by software,
Right.
and we're gonna continue doing that. We made the perceived resolution of Pro printers even higher with pixel toning back in the day, right? And then we improved speed of Pro S, speed of Pro with all these software updates. Those great things are coming to Pro 2, and rest assured that it prints as fast as what it does right now, but it can even do better in the future for sure. Not only with kits, just with software.
Our engineers never stop. Yeah.
Is speed really important? You know, we see other companies make a huge deal out of their fast printer. And what's your thought on that?
You know, if I may ask my opinion.
Okay.
If you have a one-trick pony that can just do one thing very fast and it cannot do anything else, as a clinician, I don't think I want that product. I want something that gives me flexibility in my office so I can do this, that, and maybe in the future, 2 more things. We have, again, SprintRay has shown that we are really behind the product from not only the hardware and software, but also materials that enables that hardware to do things that we couldn't do before. So if you ask me, like, why so-and-so can print models slightly faster than us, I'm like, so let it be. We can print many things, many other things very fast. So again, from the, if you think about an investment you want to make into your dental practice, you want to buy something that there's like a serious people behind it, you know, that want to support it, want to make it better over time, and add more functionalities with resins, with kits. You know, I don't want to share some secrets, but we have talked about some of the kits that are coming to Pro 2 that is just going to blow everybody's mind as to what it can do.
So Arch Kit is available.
Arch Kit is going to be available very soon, but then there's going to be other things. There's going to be a lot more coming.
What about Crown Kit?
In our tests so far, it looks like Crown Kit and Arch Kit are very similar performing. So we said, hey, what if we limit everything to Arch Kit and standard and then make room for some other kits that I don't want to talk about yet. Yes.
There's going to be some other kits.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's coming. What do you think?
I mean, it's really simple. Like you said, I wanted to highlight the material side of it. I mean, speed, ease of use, cost, like these are common word cloud things thrown around about like what people look for in printers, but we know damn well that people care about the material profile. No one's just printing models. No one's just printing gingiva mask or a surgical guide or something. Like everyone wants to branch out because you bought the thing. It's taking space, so use it for more stuff that's going to make you money. And I mean, when you talk about speed of models just in a vacuum, our model resin's biocompatible, and you can use it in the Pro Wash with other materials. You don't have to change the IPA to wash night guards or surgical guides or dentures like other people. So, I mean, how much time do you really save by printing models by a minute faster? Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's the thing about ecosystem. That's the other thing. Many people are just making printers.
Yep.
I mean, we have understood that, for example, in the case of Onyx stuff and hybrids and their longevity, a lot of it is in the curing machine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's like the curing environment has to be perfect for the material to flourish.
Who else is curing models in 1 minute?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
So I guess-
speed aside, it's like, what do you do with this?
Back to the same question. When do we ship?
Pro 2 is shipping soon, next week.
We're getting
Yeah.
QC downstairs right now
Correct,
in
yeah.
our HQ.
Yeah.
Actually, the June supply is being shipped very soon in the next couple of days. Probably by the time this video is published,
Yeah,
we shipped it already.
Yeah, should be shipped.
But place your order now. Save your spot on both Midas and Pro 2. They're very on hot demand and high demand.
It's going to be a lot of FOMO. People are going to see Wally and Shao posting their fun stuff, and they're going
Exactly.
to want to
Yeah.
play along. Yeah.
Wally texted me yesterday. I was talking to him about they're at the True Abutment Symposium, and we have sent, I think, 1 or 2 Pro 2s over there. They printed some shell temps at 250 microns thickness with Pro 2. And his word to describe it was epic. Epic prints.
What resin?
Amazing.
Yeah, Onyx stuff too.
Onyx.
Nice,
Stuff
nice.
too.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm not gonna open up material topics in this episode. Probably we're gonna sit with Steven and have fun on that. What about future, Haas? Wrapping the podcast. How does the future look like for SprintRay hardware technology?
I think hardware, software, our commitment is to workflow. We want to make the workflow easier, more accessible, faster, more convenient, whatever helps that. And we think we can add value to that workflow by doing something for it. We will definitely engage in doing it. That's our motto. That's what we try to do. It's all about that final appliance and how well you can deliver that, and anything we can do to provide that to you, we'll get engaged with that.
Will there ever be a Midas with 20 cartridges?
like a very wide one with a big
Or
handle.
minus the bigger cartridges.
Look, the sky's the limit.
Sky's
We,
the
yeah,
limit.
we have invented a new method. So yeah,
Amazing.
anything.
And before we wrap, Mark, what's the future of AI Studio? When do you finish it?
Is it done?
Oh God,
Is
yeah.
it ready for beta testing? People can sign up and we give
Soon,
them
right?
access.
Very.
By the time this is out, it's probably at least on. I mean, it's got to be at least on staging. Yeah, we're at a point right now where we can open it up to like early alpha testing. I have some exciting stuff in the works for early testers to build their own libraries. I mean, there's a lot for it, but I don't want to spoil all the fun stuff. I would just say that I think everyone in the world knows at this point how AI works. The more data we get, the better the thing is. And that's, a lot of what we're doing. We have design services, we have users printing, and we listen to our customers, and we're using our products. So whatever we need to make, we'll make with it. However easy it needs to be, it'll be that easy. However fast it needs to be, it'll be that fast.
Awesome. Find Mark on Facebook, SprintRay user group. He's
Yeah,
very active there, posting his discoveries, and he'll get you access to the AI
His
Studio.
reactions to things are epic.
Sick.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you later.